Take pic. Stop recording video. Button.
Okay, so since my phone is the way that it is, and I got an error for exceeding the time limit of a recording, I'm not even sure why that's a thing. I think I'm gonna have to split this up into 2 parts. We don't have too much longer. I don't have too much left to say. But yeah, I'm just gonna get back into it real quick. So sorry for any confusion for having 2 videos, but I promise you they're just 2 videos of the same presentation. Okay, so we talked about sleep paralysis, we talked about what it is, we talked about how it's affected our history and certain things, and we've talked about some of the symptoms. Now it's time to talk about some of the treatments or things that can be done to prevent sleep paralysis. So, unfortunately, there's not like a whole, there's not a guaranteed treatment for sleep paralysis because its cause can be a variety of different things. So, to treat sleep paralysis, you're going to have to find out what the cause of it is and then treat that cause to get rid of, well, not get rid of, because you can't really get rid of sleep paralysis, but lessen the chance of you having to go through it. So, like I mentioned earlier, sleep paralysis has been correlated with a bunch of different psychological and sleep disorders in the past, right? So, PTSD, panic disorders, sleep deprivation disorder, those sorts of things can make it more likely for a person to experience sleep paralysis. So in order to treat sleep paralysis caused by these psychological disorders, you'll have to treat said psychological disorders, and that can vary. The treatments for the disorders can vary. Sometimes it'll just be medicine. Sometimes you'll have to go to therapy, like behavioral cognitive therapy, CBT, that kind of thing. There are medicines which can kind of be used to lessen the chance of you getting sleep paralysis. It's meant to help you stay in one of the 2 forms of consciousness. Because remember I talked about earlier how you're usually either awake or asleep, and sleep paralysis is kind of like you're in between the 2 states of consciousness. There are medicines that can help you try and stay in one of those 2 consciousnesses. So I still don't know if that's a word, but we're going with it. Okay, so those are generally the treatments that are recommended. Oh, and before I forget, you can wake someone up who is going through sleep paralysis. So it's important to note that. It might be, difficult to do because, people, when they're in sleep paralysis, they don't necessarily move around and yell out like when they're in a nightmare because, they're paralyzed. But if you do notice it, you can safely wake up someone who is going through sleep paralysis. So, that might be a thing to consider if you live with, a partner or a spouse or someone like that. You should be like, hey, do you notice my sleep paralysis? I'm in the middle of it. Wake me up. So
Stop. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
that is something that is worth considering that can help. And yeah. So I think we've gone over pretty much everything I wanted to go over in this little presentation here. We went over what sleep paralysis is. We just went over treatments for it, and we looked at some of the effects it's had on our history. And
3 minutes. Phase nearby. 4 minutes. 25 seconds.
Yeah, I think that is going to end this little presentation. Again, sorry for having to split it up into 2 videos. I know that might be a little unusual, but I just want to get the whole presentation there. And yeah, I hope that won't be too big of an issue. If it needs to be 1 video, please just reach out. That voice crack. Reach out, and I will do my best to find a way to edit the 2 videos together. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope this was informative. Have a good
Place near
day.
top edge. Stop recording video.